I'm so excited. I got Super Bowl week. I got peeps hanging from Florida to L.A. I got NBA action to talk about. I mean, Molly ain't got on her Nurse Betty shoes today. She looking fly. And oh, by the way, to top it all off, after I beat down Michael Irvin, I don't know whether or not he's going to recover. They brought in the reserves. I mean, a reserve who's really a starter. That man is Booker McFarlane. He in the house. What's going on, my man? What's going on?
Stephen A., the last time I was a reserve was in 5th grade. You got it in for you today, buddy.
Oh, snap.
First takes in the house. Let's go.
Since I was 10 years old, this is what I've always wanted to do.
It is no fluke. It is a fact.
Long time coming.
And they're one win away from a world title at Super Bowl 56.
I wouldn't call it nervous. I would call it excited.
One game. That's it. That's it. One game. Who you work for right here? How bad you want? All that training you did, everything you do is for this right here.
Deep shot, chase, caught, touchdown.
Put it in my hands. It's over. Every time we touch it, we score.
A two-handed grab. Touchdown, LA.
Let's dominate.
We know what's on the line. Ain't no better stage than this.
We're one game away. There is no tomorrow. Let's go. Be great. Be great. Nothing less.
Good day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Two-time Super Bowl champ Booger McFarlane. Big time in us all season. Just doing Mondays, things like that. It is good to see you, sir, and of course, Stephen A. Smith. We are 5 days away. Gentlemen, you cool if we just dive right into it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. 13 years in, Matthew Stafford wants to silence the naysayers, cement his legacy, and keep the Lombardi in the host city of Los Angeles. Meanwhile, Joe Burrow channeling his inner LeBron. Ohio, this is for you. Burrow looking to bring home the hardware to his home state. And what would be the Bengals' first ever Super Bowl victory? Take a listen.
They have a really young team that doesn't really even understand, the historical significance of what we're doing. We're just out there playing football and, getting better while we're doing it.
Tell us how you really feel. After opening as 4-point favorites, the line is now up to 4.5 points in favor of the Rams. Cincinnati was 125-1 to win the Super Bowl entering the season, making them just the second team with preseason odds of 100-1 or longer to reach the Super Bowl in the last 40 seasons. The other being the St. Louis Rams in 99. So let's just say they have defied the odds thus far. Boog, I'll start with you. Are the Bengals being overlooked?
No, I think, we fall in love sometimes with a Cinderella story. And if you look at the Bengals 2 years ago, they only won a couple of games and now they're in the Super Bowl. And I think everyone wants to have the swan song, the fairy tale ending to go from worst to first. No, they're not being overlooked. And I don't think this is going to be like this swan song or fairy tale ending. I think they're being looked at exactly how they should. They're a team with a really, really bad offensive line. They're a team that their defense is playing a little bit above their head, and their quarterback has been outstanding, and their skill position players have given them an opportunity to put up points and compete with anyone. Now, when you put all that together and you say, okay, how can they go out and how have they won football games? Their quarterback, Joe Burrow, has been outstanding. He's gone from being a Heisman Trophy winner at LSU, the first overall pick, to he's put himself in a position where he's a top 5 quarterback in football, and he's got that swag, Molly and Stephen A. He's got that it. When he has the ball, when he is in control, when he is on the field, he gives everybody on the team confidence, and everybody in the city of Cincinnati, Ohio thinks that they can win this game. But if you're thinking that this team is the favorite, or they should be the favorite, or somehow we're overlooking them because they're this juggernaut, they're a really, really good story. Their quarterback has played really, really well. But the fact that they're an underdog against a team that has the potential and the ceiling as the Rams, that's about where they should be.
I'm sorry. I think they're being overlooked, my brother. And I think that you're being far too kind to the Rams. And I don't think that you are calling out the cynics of the Cincinnati Bengals the way that you should. Booker McFarlane, A-team, starter, champion, and all of that stuff. I would challenge you on that. And here's the reason why. Burrow's a bad brother, just like you said. When you that bad, when you that special, when you that gifted, we talking one game, bro. if you got doubts about the Cincinnati Bengals entering the season over the course of 17 games and what have you, I feel you on that. I have my doubts myself. But seeing what we've seen, understanding the vulnerabilities that the Los Angeles Rams have exhibited to us, combined with the fact that it's Burrow, it's Jamar Chase, it's Higgins, it's Mixon, and these boys. I mean, we talking 60 minutes, bro. We talking 60 minutes. And then I'm very, very shocked. I mean, considering the illustrious career that this man has had, we see him on Monday night.
Yeah.
You see that the man played in the NFL. You've been a part of the bright light, literally and figuratively, in front of the camera and behind the scenes. Booger McFarland, you trying to tell me the Los Angeles Rams playing at SoFi Stadium, their home turf, a year after Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers handled their business on their home turf in Tampa? Now it's your turn at SoFi in LA. And this ain't Tampa Bay, where some people live. No state income taxes. I'm all for that. We got that part. But outside of that, it ain't la-la. It ain't la-la. You don't see Magic Johnson in the suites at Tampa Bay. You ain't going to see the stars coming out from all over Hollywood and everything else. It's right there in Inglewood, my brother. And when you looking at it from that perspective, anybody ever talked about how pressure breaks pipes? You got this situation where you're on your home turf.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford just won a playoff game for the first time in his 13-year career this season. You got a whole bunch. Aaron Donald's already lost the Super Bowl. He ain't trying to lose too. We look at the Los Angeles Rams. Sean McVay, boy wonder. You got him going on. You got the quarterback. You want to all that pressure.
Yeah.
And what is Cincinnati playing with? Cincinnati's playing with house money. Cincinnati's on coming to LA, and it's like, yo, we got nothing to lose. I got a quarterback who really is in his first full year. Last year he got hurt. This year he played. This is his first full season in the National Football League, and this brother's in the Super Bowl. And by the way, where did he go to school at? LSU. Where did you go to school at? LSU. For you to be sitting up here talking about...
You already know it, baby. Throw the L's up, baby. You already know it.
You cats at ESPN.
Exactly. I don't know what the hell is up. I mean, we must have an executive who's a tiger or something. That's what it is. That's what it is. No question. So I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, look, man, you got Joe Burrow coming up in there with Chase, with Higgins, with Mixon and the crew. A defense that has shown up throughout these playoffs, and even though they're playing over their head, damn it, these are the same playoffs. They're playing over their head. We know you could put up points against the Rams. Burrow won over Tennessee, even though Tennessee sacked them 9 times. I would sit up there and say, I do believe they're being overlooked. I do believe they're not being respected and appreciated enough. I don't know who the hell I'm picking as of yet. It might be the Rams. I ain't going to front, but I got to tell you, it's a hard damn choice to make. Because I'm not sleeping on Cincinnati by no means. These brothers are special, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, Booger.
You know, Stephen A., I tend to agree with you. They're special, but I'm going to take this right to your wheelhouse. This reminds me of, and I forget the year, maybe it was 2016, 17, when it was the Cavaliers with LeBron and Kyrie against the Warriors that had KD, they had Clay, they had Steph.
No.
That's what this reminds me of. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's 17. KD was
okay, that's Joe Burrow from Ohio. Joe Burrow's a bad man. Joe Burrow can get it done. Yeah. But the team on the other side, KD, Steph, Clay, they got too much firepower, man. The Rams, you look at the Rams, and they got Aaron Donald, Von Miller. No, it's not blasphemy.
It's
not blasphemy. It's
Are
the
you
real
comparing
deal.
the Golden State Warriors with KD to the Rams? Really?
Star power, Odell Beckham Jr., Cooper Kupp, Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford. I'm comparing the Rams. I'm comparing them to a Hollywood team because they are top heavy. They got some of the best talent in football.
This is blasphemy.
And who are they going against? It's Joe Burrow coming from Ohio. It's Joe Burrow's a bad man, but he can't do it by himself, Stephen A. He's going to need some help. And unless them 5 offensive linemen can all of a sudden grow some heart for the Bengals, right, it's going to be a long day for Joe Burrow, my friend.
Booger McFarland, let me educate you since you came into my wheelhouse, okay? Let me educate you, my brother.
Yes, I did.
Listen to me. The Rams walked into the season after acquiring Matthew Stafford with the pieces that they had, even after acquiring Odell Beckham Jr., particularly once Robert Woods goes down, right? We still looked at them and we said, Tampa.
Yeah.
We said, Green Bay. The moment KD announced that he was going to the Bay to join Steph and Clay, The basketball world said season's over. There was nothing to talk about. There was no suspense. That's why I was so upset at the moment, because I love competition. Yeah. And I was upset because I'm like, he's so great. He so dramatically shifted the balance of power by joining that team. Competition went out the window. LeBron James won the Eastern Conference Finals in Boston. And while he was being congratulated by the great Doris Burke, he was asked about facing Golden State and literally gave a concession speech on the court in TD Bank Garden in Boston. He said, I don't want to think about that. I'm just happy at this moment in time. I don't feel like bringing that stress upon myself.
Yeah,
I don't want to deal with it.
That.
Because everybody and their mother knew KD with Steph and Clay, nobody was knocking that off. That wasn't the case for the Los Angeles Rams at any point this season. So your analogy is way off.
Wait, hold on. So, Booger, you're that confident? Is it going to be Rams by a landslide?
First of all, I'm not picking a game just yet. I'm just telling Stephen A. what I think is going to happen. Stephen A., to your point, that team was assembled before the season. You have to give the Rams credit. This team was assembled throughout the season. So we have to give them time to gel. The addition of Von Miller, the addition of OBJ, that happened in the middle of the season. So you're right. We didn't say that the Rams...
Well, I think we're dealing with some technical difficulties, but I have something to say.
He'll be all right.
We'll be right back to your...
Let me get his point.
Yeah.
This is where he's wrong again.
What?
Even when they acquired Odell Beckham Jr. and all the pieces, nobody was like, oh, they're the favorites. We were talking Green Bay and Tampa Bay.
What we said is they went all in.
Yeah, they went all in, but nobody was saying that they were this juggernaut of a team that clearly should be the favorites. We had Tampa and Green Bay as being teams ahead of them. That was never the case. The moment KD announced that I'm going to Golden State on July 4th, the moment that happened, everybody said NBA season's over.
With you.
NBA season's over. There's no competition. Because there's no competition. You can't beat them.
Before we move on, I have to say two things. A little disappointed in Booger because he was really talking that talk about the Rams, and then he walked it back like, oh, I'm not making my pick yet. And as far as I want to apologize to Sarah Corso here at ESPN. She keeps asking for our Super Bowl picks, and I keep ignoring her because I'm with you. I'm not ready to pick yet.
No, Friday.
I need to wait till Friday.
That's what Friday's for.
I'm not ready to go there. This one's tough. Usually I have a good gut feeling, and I don't on this one because, my pick record is exceptional on the show. Dating all the way back to Skip Bayless.
I don't know about that. I have no recollection. I have no recollection of that orange crush. I have no recollection of that. But I'm just telling you.
Get the receipts, everybody.
I'm not going that. I'm wondering about the receipts. But either way, here's the bottom line. This is television. Friday's the day.
Okay.
You make your predictions then.
Oh, my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? This is how you do television.
Okay.
You got to wait. Okay,
thank you for that cliffhanger. You know who else has given us a cliffhanger?
What?
Tom Brady, speaking of walking it back. So here's the deal, guys. Tom Brady, who officially retired last week after 7 rings, 22 seasons, was asked by Jim Gray if this is really it. And let's just say he left the door open. Listen for yourself.
I'm just going to take things as they come. I think that's the best way to put it. And I don't think anything you never say never. And at the same time, I know that I feel very good about my decision. So I don't know how it feels 6 months from now. I think you have to be realistic that you never know what challenges there are going to be in life.
Stephen A.
Yeah.
Your reaction to what you just heard.
I don't believe a damn word he's saying, but I'm not going to knock him for it. He's Tom freaking Brady, and he's earned the right to say what the hell he wants to say. I'm good with it. I'm not casting any aspersions on it. I'm a huge fan. And even more so that he has retired, I can now celebrate him even more because he richly, richly deserves it to conduct himself with the class and the leadership that he has conducted himself with throughout these years. To throw for over 84,000 passing yards, a 3-to-1 touchdown to turnover to interception ratio. What he has done in his career, what he has done for the game of football, he has earned the right to say whatever the hell he wants, even though I think he's full of it with this particular statement. And I don't say that as a negative. I just think that you're Tom Brady. You got the TB12. You got a whole bunch of other stuff, business ventures that you've engaged. Well, you got a whole bunch of business ventures that you might be engaging in. So when you throw that out there, it's suspenseful. Will he come back? Won't he come back? You're constantly talking about him in some regard. that keeps him relevant for the purposes of business outside of football.
Yeah.
That works. It's a beautiful strategy. I think he should be applauded for it. I'm just saying he's full of it. He ain't coming back. You're 44.
Skeptical.
You're 44 going on 45 years of age. You decide to walk away from the game. Your wife has been clamoring for you to walk away from the game. You talked about your wife and children and how important they are to you, which we all know is absolutely true. And you're saying, this is what I need to do for them, not just myself. It's time for somebody else to take the helm. You're going to announce that and then all of a sudden turn around and say, well, you know what, sweetheart, I changed my mind. Those concussions I've been coming home with that you talked about since 2017, well, guess what? I got the itch. I want to revisit it. After waiting all of these years to retire when you wanted me to retire years ago, and I finally said I'm going to retire, and now I'm going to renege, I'm sorry. Happy wife, happy life. That brother got to go home. And she's far more important than the rest of us, and she's far more important at this particular juncture in his life than his football career, which he just walked away from. I don't believe a damn word he's saying, but I applaud his right to say it.
I'm with you on all of that, and I'll just say this as we get JJ Redick out here to talk some hoops. I think it's brilliant, and it shows his wisdom. Never say never, because so many times in life now, there's been times I've had to eat my words. I'd say, oh, that never happened. So he's leaving the door open, and he reserves the right to change his mind. There's a lot of things in my mature age that I never thought would happen in life, and now I say that. Never say never. I stay open.
Because I got a question for you.
Sure.
I got a question for you before we bring JJ in here.
Sure.
I got a question for you. See, I got 4 older sisters.
Okay, I've got 2.
I got the 4 older sisters in the great. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What woman do you know can sit there with a man? We can ask JJ this. This man's happily man. We ask him this question. What woman do you know that you can literally look her in the face, say no, 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 when she's clamoring for you to retire because she's worried about your health and she's worried about the life that y'all have together after football, right? So you finally, after waiting years, you grant her wish. And then you turn around and say, I changed my mind. What woman do you know that's going to let you get away with that? It's not going to happen.
You haven't been in the house full time a long time. She might have him back full time and say, you know what? You can be at the house a little bit.
But that's a good point.
I'm telling you, there's an adjustment. We all lived through a pandemic, working from home. It's an adjustment when you're used to being on the grind.
The pandemic took place. And on top of it all, in the off season, you have plenty of time to be there every day, and she still wanted him there every day. I'm sorry. He knows what she wants. Okay. JJ.
I can't speak to Tom Brady's marriage. I can say that I just went through this having retired because I wanted to be home. Yeah. And look, there's been multiple times where my wife has said, you need to get out of the house. You're actually around too much right now.
Exactly.
I agree with you there.
Sometimes it's be careful what you wish for.
But she's telling you to go back to work. Be on the road.
Balance. She probably wants balance. If you're playing
football, risk concussions.
No.
There you go.
That's a different deal.
There you go.
But it's very wise to say in life, never say never. Stephen A., you never know what could happen in your future.
No.
Okay.
No.
Good to have you.
Good to
and
see
we're going to have you a lot now
as
we're at the halfway point. So let's talk some hoops, fellas. So here's the deal. The trade deadline 2 days away. Obviously, there has been a lot of talk about the Sixers and Nets making a deal happen. Some say James Harden is disgruntled in his current situation, and he obviously goes way back with Sixers GM Daryl Morey. Plus, we know Ben Simmons doesn't want to be in Philly, but Brooklyn head coach Steve Nash says that's not the case, confident that James Harden is where he wants to be. Take a listen.
The trade deadline coming up Thursday. Have you had any, any further conversations with him about where you guys stand or even where his mindset is?
No, I've talked to James. He wants to be here. He wants to be here long term as well. So I don't think anything's changed other than noise from the outside. James wants to be here. We're building with James, and we think we have the best chance to win with James. So, I don't think anything's changed on the inside, in our locker room, in our communication. It's just all the noise from the outside.
JJ, you're up first. Should the Nets and Sixers make that Harden-Simmons swap right now?
I actually love this deal for both teams.
Really?
Yeah. Look, I don't know what the ancillary pieces would be if this deal were to happen with Joe Harris, Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry. I don't know who that would be. If we just look at these two players, James Harden with Joel Embiid, other than Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid has never had a full-time pick-and-roll operator like James Harden. Individual shot creation, the Sixers missed that in the playoffs. When you look at the Nets, I've always said this. Ben Simmons in the playoffs, his best position is as a 5, switching multiple positions on defense, playmaking on offense as a roller in the short roll, a la Giannis. So for me, one of the reasons this Sixers team has been so clunky in the playoffs is because you can't play Ben at his best position in the playoffs because Joel Embiid is the 5 and he's the best player. In terms of the timing, I get to a degree why Daryl Morey and the Sixers want to wait until the offseason. Joel Embiid has an injury history. We know that. He's in his prime. He's having another MVP season. I know, Stephen A., you feel like he's the MVP right now. You can't waste this season. The East is wide open. And I will say this.
That's a great point.
I like this trade for both teams. I'll reiterate that. If I'm the Sixers, I can't justify not trading Ben for something at the deadline. Even if you get a couple good pieces, not great pieces like a great piece like James, you have a chance this year with Joel Embiid to win the East and compete for a championship. I think there's got to be more of a sense of urgency to deal Ben by the deadline if I'm them.
That's strong.
I completely disagree with you, number one.
Great.
And number two, and more importantly, let me tell you something right now. You're the Philadelphia 76ers. I'll tell you when you had a chance with championship. When you were there, averaging 18 a game, you had Jimmy Butler there. They should have never let y'all go. They should have let y'all come back. They should have made sure to keep you and Jimmy Butler. Then I believe y'all have won the championship. I really, really do. Y'all, or at least been in the finals. That's my personal opinion. Having said all of that, here's why I respectfully disagree with you. I appreciate the breakdown. Very astute on your part. I don't give a damn. I'm not trading Ben Simmons to Brooklyn. Not to Brooklyn. You're talking about Harden. Mad love for Harden. Mad respect for him. Done great, great things in the NBA over the last decade or so. The brother's older. He's bigger. He's a touch slower. Likely because of his hamstring injuries. Okay? So the Harden that you're getting, even though he's averaging 22, 10, and 8, even though he's an extraordinary playmaker, and you're right about him in the pick and roll situations, the reality of the situation is this ain't the James Harden that was in Houston, at least not the one we've seen thus far in Brooklyn. Because of injury. Because of injury, age, attrition, the fact that you dropped the ball by not working out because you wanted out of Houston, and that's come back to bite you because the shape that you was once in, that you were once in, that is no longer the case. He still hasn't recovered fully health-wise. That's number one. Number two, let's understand Ben Simmons. Kyrie Irving, for all my cynicism about him, because you got to watch the bus, you got to sit in the tunnel and watch the bus, make sure he's on the bus. I mean, that's really what it is about Kyrie Irving. You never know when he's going to show up. But when that brother shows up, he is nothing short of spectacular. KD, the best in the world when healthy as far as I'm concerned. With Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons, you don't have to worry about shooting. I'm on the record. Golden State Warriors don't want him. They got their team. But the two teams you don't want to trade Ben Simmons to is Brooklyn and Golden State. Because I believe that Ben Simmons, whatever issues he's having, doesn't matter. They can win it all. My issue with him going from Philly to Brooklyn is that they're not only within the same conference, they're within the same division. So even if they don't get there, Jay, I'm saying you're an impediment, a roadblock to the Sixers. That's my issue. You might not win the championship. Something might go wrong, whatever. But you're an impediment to that team. I don't believe the Sixers, even with Joel Embiid, are beating Ben Simmons, KD, and Kyrie. And if I'm Daryl Morey and I moved Ben Simmons and that team is standing in my way, to me, that's when failure kicks in when you talk about a trade. A team could be successful, but they're not the ones in your way when you move the guy. But if you move a guy and he's serving as a direct impediment to your success, you lost because you gave him away to an enemy that could compromise your success. And that's why I say not Brooklyn.
Right. So I get what you're saying. Let's look at this in terms of they wait. We're not going to trade him to Brooklyn. Okay. There's no deals that materialize. Okay. And then they wait to the summer. We all know that Daryl Morey has basically waited this long to see what happens with Harden, to see what happens with Damian Lillard.
Correct.
Speaking directly about the Harden situation, to get that deal done, they can't just go out and sign James Harden outright. It would have to be some sort of sign and trade.
Right.
So let's say there's multiple teams involved. You're probably going to want to offload Tobias's contract. To do that, that's going to require you probably trading Tyrese Maxey. It's going to require a good young player.
Yes.
So to go out and get James in the summer, you will have to break down your roster. And to me, this runs into the same scenario that the Lakers are going through and the Nets are going through. You have a chance right now, not essentially a swap for swap, but you can build a great roster on both sides, both these teams right now, by doing this trade. If you wait till the summer, there's going to be so many pieces that move. All of a sudden, Daryl Morey gets James Harden in a sign and trade. There's 3 teams involved. They've got 6 rotation guys. Same deal as the Nets. Lakers don't even have 6 rotation guys. You know, it's the same issue that these teams are running into.
Here's what you're missing. First of all, everything that you say makes sense. We know this if you wait until this summer. I'm speaking strictly from a basketball perspective. I'm about to blow you away with what I'm about to say. Are we sure we want James Harden? Are we sure? Again, older, bigger, slower, in all likelihood because of injury. I'm not questioning his heart. I'm not questioning his game. I'm not questioning when he's 100% healthy and in shape. But he's been compromised. Do you really, really, really know what you're getting moving forward? To me, that's a problem.
Okay.
That's a problem.
I want to speak to that because I agree with you. There is a concern there with the hamstring, and he has not looked right since that hamstring injury. The first injury prior to the playoffs, and obviously he re-injured it in the playoffs. Richard Jefferson said this 2 weeks ago. I thought this was brilliant. When you talk about real contenders, when you talk about winning a championship, everybody's got to be moving in the same direction.
Yeah, agree.
And when we talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, the Miami Heat, the Golden State Warriors, Phoenix Suns, everybody's moving the same direction. This Nets team, it's very obvious. Everyone's not moving in the same direction. When you talk about the Sixers, clearly everyone's not moving in the same direction. One guy won't even show up to play.
That's right.
So, to me, I think if Harden goes somewhere else, maybe he's moving in the same direction. There's clearly something wrong. You can watch a Nets game and see the body language. Right. Something's not right.
But we don't disagree.
Not just the physical part.
That's right.
It's the emotional and the mental part. It's the motivation.
We don't disagree with that at all. And I can vouch. Listen, I know for a fact James Harden would love to play for Daryl Morey. And Daryl Morey would love to have James Harden. We're talking about health. We're talking about attrition. We're talking about those kind of things when it comes to James Harden. In Ben Simmons' case, he wants to be anywhere but Philly. He wants to be anywhere but Philly. I'm just saying, if I move him within that conference, we keep talking about Ben Simmons. We're not talking about Kyrie and KD. The Milwaukee Bucks are the champions. They would be home if Kyrie Irving hadn't hurt his ankle. We saw the Brooklyn Nets up 49 on them. 49 when Kyrie and KD were on the court without Harden. Healthy. And he got hurt. So I'm just saying, to add Ben Simmons to that, Philadelphia might rue the day
I just want to say one thing to that point, and this is just a general take on basketball that I have.
Sure. Yeah.
In every playoff run, you can look at an injury, a sickness, a bad foul call, a bad break on the court. We lost my year with the Sixers. Kawhi Leonard beat us on a shot that bounced on the rim 7 times. You look at last year's playoff. Chris Paul missed the first, I think, 2 games, the Western Conference Finals with COVID. Giannis was out a game. Those guys ended up getting to the finals. Things happen in every single playoff run. It's Doc Rivers after the Warriors won in 15. A little bit of luck is involved. Doesn't mean you're lucky that you won. A little bit of luck. Things have to go your way.
I'm just saying, I'm not discrediting the Milwaukee Bucks. They're worthy champions. They deserve all the credit in the world. But we're talking basketball, and we are allowed as fans, not as former players who are intimately involved in it and look at things that way. We are allowed as fans to sit up there and go like this. Damn, if Kyrie hadn't got hurt, boy, look at what this would have happened.
Because you had a brilliant point in the sense of urgency. They need to do something because they could potentially win the East in terms of Philly. But say they make that swap, though, then isn't it kind of null and void? Because then Brooklyn's better, too, so they knock them out. Then if that happens, which team are you betting on, Philly or Brooklyn?
Well, look, there's no one on Brooklyn currently, anyways, that can guard Joel Embiid in the playoffs. There's very few guys that can guard him one-on-one, period. My point is that I think it's a net win for both teams. And who would I bet on? A lot of it depends on Kyrie Irving's availability. If he's available full-time, I think the Nets are a better team right now than they are with Harden. I think the Sixers are a better team with Harden than they are right now. So I think it's a net win for both teams. I'd love to see that series. I would love to see that series. And you kind of proved my point about doing it now versus waiting to the offseason. James Harden turns 33 in August.
No. My point.
Can't let
you got to do it now.
No. My point is there's too many question marks about James Harden for me to do that deal by sending Ben Simmons to Brooklyn, because I know it makes Brooklyn stronger. I don't know about James Harden right now. So I'm not proving your point. I'm proving mine.
Okay.
Thank you.
They just told me we got to go to breaks.
Yeah, you trying to be slick, trying to let the audience think that you got me. You don't. Okay? He doesn't. Let's go.
Y'all, going into the season, the Nets and Lakers were the favorites to win the title. And now as we approach the All-Star break, both teams dealing with quite a bit of adversity and not where they want to be. The Lakers 9th in the West, and their big three have only played 17 games together this season, with a home game tonight versus the champion Bucks. They are 10-7 in those matchups. Obviously, injuries have been an issue. Same deal for Brooklyn. 7th in the East and the loser in 8 straight games, with the home game tonight versus Boston. And their big three has played together 16 times in the past 2 seasons, including the playoffs, plus dealing with the part-time Kyrie situation. But here's the silver lining. There is still time and folks can get healthy. You're going to love this question, JJ. Who's under more pressure to win another title? Would you put that on LeBron James or Kevin Durant?
I don't think you're going to like my answer here.
Really?
I don't think there's pressure on either guy. Look, I think both of these players, when we talk about legacies, I think both of these guys' legacies are secured. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest all-time scorers. He's been to 4 finals, 2 championships, 2 finals MVPs, tore his Achilles in 2019. This level of greatness from him at age 33 after an Achilles tear, this is a bonus. LeBron James. 10 finals, 8 straight, leaves the East, wins a championship in his second year in LA. One of the 2 or 3 greatest players of all time. I don't think they feel any pressure to win another championship. Certainly want to win another championship. I talked to Chris Paul last week. We talked about championships validating a career.
Yeah.
Both these guys, their careers are validated. They don't need another one to validate anything.
Oh, God. There's so much to teach former athletes and present athletes. Let me try again. I really try. Y'all just don't get it. KD and LeBron are champions. We know this. When they are inducted into the Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famers with ease, okay? We will celebrate their greatness and what they accomplished in their careers. That has nothing to do with now. Tomorrow, next month, next season, while you're playing, there's a story that has to be told. And the amazing part of it, this is why J.J. Redick would sit in the locker room sometimes or sit on the sidelines or whatever and had this perpetual frown on his face looking like me, for crying out loud. Just pissed off at the world, because he's annoyed. Why? Because his whole thing is, this is what it is. No. The story has to be told. And like I tell Molly all the time, I'm a soap opera fan. I'm Britt.
Tell the truth. You're a soap opera actor. You're not a fan.
Recurrent role in General Hospital. Sonny Corinthos is the star of General Hospital. Maurice Bernard is his name. My friend, Victor Newman on Young and the Restless. His name is Eric Braden. They've been shot. They've been pushed downstairs. They've been in a coma. They've been stabbed. We all know they're going to live, J.J. Redick. They're the stars of the show. It don't stop the storylines from percolating. The same is applicable to LeBron, KD. The reality of the situation is that if you're KD, I would say he's under more pressure than LeBron because LeBron has more rings. And the dysfunction in L.A. has reeked through the headlines so much that nobody expects anything from them, because we watch the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors, and we're like, damn it, if you are healthy, you still might not win because they're better teams than you. Even though LeBron deserves a lot of accountability because Rob Pelinka, Mr. Pleaser, wanted to make sure that he capitulated to what LeBron wanted, and LeBron James picked this damn roster to some degree anyway. KD, though, is different. Why? Because when we look at KD, we look at Kyrie, we look at Brooklyn. You talked about not just their play, you talked about their body language. Who's the leader? Who's the face of the franchise? Who's the guy that's supposed to be able to stand up and say, yo, bro, we trying to win the chip. We going for this. Those kind of things that take place, it's a story that has to be told. That's the way it goes.
Time out. Speaking of stories, maybe I've been around him too long. JJ, the stakes get a little higher when you become, no one's going to be able to read my note, a super team. And then I have more words for you here. LeBron, AD, Russ, KD, Kyrie, Harden. No one can read my handwriting. A big threes on both teams. You know this. We know how great they are. We know their legacies. Super teams, big threes, star power, stakes are higher, JJ.
Look, I get it. And I love that people in 2022 act like super teams haven't existed for the entirety of the NBA. So
there we go. Another debate.
Should some of Larry Bird's titles be discredited because they put that team together? Rod Auerbach made an amazing trade to put that team together. Hold on. No.
Go ahead.
This is, we 80s, those were super teams. Jordan's Bulls, those were super teams. Shaq and Kobe, that's a super team.
And the stakes were high.
The stakes are always high. There's always going to be pressure on great players. The question was, who has more pressure?
Right.
The answer is neither.
You said neither.
The answer is neither.
You said neither.
I'll tell you why. Because as an athlete, we want to go out and kill, and we want to win.
Okay.
That's inherent to the game. Any great athlete, that is inherent to the game. There is no one that can put more pressure on Kevin or LeBron or me or Chris Paul than themselves. So all the pressure is coming from this. All the pressure is coming from this. The answer is neither. The answer is neither.
So in other
you're
words,
creating a narrative and a story, Stephen A. We all do that. This is what we do.
Time out. No, well, you could say that. I mean, I guess if people want to give me, clearly Kevin Durant and them gave me credit for that over this week. Y'all want to give me credit for that, so be it. I'll take it. It don't bother me. This is what I do. I'm in the media. All I'm doing, though,
you're doing your job.
No.
You're doing your job.
But the job is not to create the job is not to create a narrative. As the late great John Thompson once said about me, this is what I love about Stephen A. You want to know how he feels? Just ask him.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah. You ask me a question, I'm giving you an answer. If people want to follow that narrative, that's their damn business. It's not created. But what I'm saying to you is this: we're talking basketball, and when I'm talking basketball, I'm looking at a situation where there's an expectation that comes with the team that is assembled. Do we expect the Sacramento Kings to do anything? How about the Orlando Magic? How about the Detroit Pistons?
No.
You know damn well we don't compare. You don't expect anything from them. But when you are a team like that has been assembled in Brooklyn, you damn right there are expectations. And if you fall short of those expectations, you're going to be looked at, no matter who. If you're the Los Angeles Lakers, why are we looking at them? The only thing that has saved LeBron is because we're seeing Russell Westbrook disintegrate before our very eyes. Now, me personally, I still believe. I think he needs to stop shooting damn jump shots. Mm-hmm. You're not a shooter. Attack the basket. You're a freak athlete. Dominate. Take the ball to the hole. Get to the free throw line and shoot better than 66.8%. That's just me. But that has saved LeBron and AD to a lesser degree from taking even more heat because they are responsible for this roster that was assembled. That's what comes with it, bro. And people like you who are saying what you're saying, it's like you want to act as if it's only the pressure that they bring on themselves. There's no pressure whatsoever.
No. What I'm saying is when you are a great player, the pressure is inherent. The external pressure and the internal pressure. Nothing's ever going to change that. There was pressure on Kevin Durant.
But the situation matters.
What if you're on a great team?
They've already done it.
No,
they've already done it,
I'm not saying that. But that's
already done it.
But that's going to be chronicled later on. While you're here now, if it was all about the fact that LeBron's got 4 rings, why is he constantly maligned? Why are people constantly questioning him? Year to year, the man's been to 10 NBA finals. He's won 4 chips, but every year he's under a microscope. Why? Because of expectations. Kevin Durant's a 2-time champion, 2-time NBA finals MVP. With greatness comes great responsibility. And part of that responsibility is expectations being thrown in your face and you answering the call as to whether or not you're going to live up to it. That comes with it. That's what elevates and illuminates greatness. Who responds to those pressures? That's why LeBron James, in some people's eyes, is number 2 all time. Because with that pressure, 10 NBA finals.
I would love to ask LeBron and Kevin this very question.
What, they wouldn't admit it anyway. Y'all lie all the time.
They would agree.
You lie all the time.
We don't lie.
Athletes don't lie. Athletes don't downplay. I should say lie. You're right. I should say lie. Downplay.
Right.
Don't
They don't
worry.
downplay?
There'll be plenty of time to revisit this. Do you want these notes to help you out for future segments, or are you good?
I gotta be. You know what? I want JJ here more. Because some stuff that he says,
here a lot.
and he's
NBA
getting off
season.
the hook because we run out of
it's the NBA
time.
season. You know what I mean? When the
We run out of
NFL
time. I want
season ends.
JJ more. I want JJ more. Okay?
Okay.
You'll be on more.
I love it.
All right, let's keep it rolling here, guys.
You ain't
Coming
getting
up,
a high too
Brian
much.
Flores. To the NFL, where all of the head coaching vacancies are just about wrapped up and filled. Yesterday, the Saints informed their defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen, that he would become their head coach. Allen was previously a head coach for the Raiders from 2012 to 2014, then to Houston, where the hiring of Lovie Smith is official. Smith was the Texans' associate head coach and defensive coordinator this past season. He joins Mike McDaniels, Dolphins, Robert Saleh, Jets, Mike Tomlin, Steelers, Ron Rivera, Commanders as the NFL's only minority head coaches. One of the finalists for that Texans job, Brian Flores, who, as you know, is suing the NFL and 3 teams over allegations of racial discrimination. His lawyers released this statement after the hiring. We would be remiss not to mention that Mr. Flores was one of 3 finalists for the Texans head coach position, and after a great interview and mutual interest, it is obvious that the only reason Mr. Flores was not selected was his decision to stand up against racial inequality across the NFL. Strong accusation there. Stephen A., your reaction to all of this and those hirings?
Well, listen, Dennis Allen has been under Sean Payton for a while, and he was always considered the guy that was going to be the next head coach for the New Orleans Saints unless he got a job somewhere else. And it's hard to dismiss that, and it's hard to, speak negatively about that. Lovie Smith, I'm happy he's getting a second chance, even though, he's coached for 2 years in Tampa. He coached in Chicago, so it's really a third chance. It would have been great to see somebody else get that opportunity, but I'm certainly not upset that he's gotten an opportunity yet again to prove himself. In the end, what I really want to focus on is the fact that a group of civil rights leaders, call for replacing the Rooney Rule when they met Monday with Commissioner Roger Goodell. What we have to remember and what people have to pay attention to is that there's inequality that is being exercised in the National Football League in the year 2022. On so many occasions as a society, we look at things and we say, aren't we getting better? Isn't it different than what it used to be in a very positive way? Regardless of the trials and tribulations that we experience as a nation, there's a lot of credence to that argument in a lot of different ways, not when it comes to the NFL. And the fact that the NFL is the number 1 sport in North America, making gobs and gobs of money with 30 white owners, not a single black owner. And on top of it all, you have owners literally ignoring a rule that they okayed implementation of in 2003. And 19 years later, you are clearly taking a step backward, and they don't seem to give a damn. America needs to understand what the owners are saying is, we really don't care what you think. We're making money. We're going to continue to make money because y'all ain't going nowhere. So y'all can make all the noise y'all want because we're going to still live fat and happy. And that's why I don't mind the fact that civil rights leaders have gotten involved, because it's an issue of inequality that needs to be addressed. And the league has tried their best to rectify it. But clearly, the strong arm that they have ain't strong enough to influence the owners they work for. And so to me, this is the first step. And as far as I'm concerned, if it doesn't change, I wouldn't be opposed to government intervention to bring attention to the level of inequality that NFL owners are exercising.
Yeah, because not only was it not working,
when it comes to black
it was
coaches.
actually regressing.
Yes.
And I just want to mention quickly, there's one vacancy left. That would be, we think Kevin O'Connell will be hired by the Vikings. Obviously, he's coaching in the Super Bowl. And we'll ask Justin Jefferson, who will be with us in just a bit, about his potential new head coach. Still ahead on First Take, full hour of First Take coming at you. We're diving into the Super Bowl with Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson, as well as Viking star and former Burrow and Chase LSU teammate Justin Jefferson. Also, with the Nets dropping 8 straight, should we still view them as legit threats to win the East? But first, so much star power in this Super Bowl and so many great matchups within the matchup. How about Jalen Ramsey versus Jamar Chase? Let's go. Ramsey's not scared. Keep talking that talk.
Of course, that's what I'm asking for. That's what I want. whoever you think your best man is, put me on him. Let me help the team win this game. That's what it's all about. But there are different areas where we might have to do something different because it might put the team in a better position to win. So, wherever the game may take us, it'll take us, and we're gonna do what we got to do from there. But you're gonna get to see that matchup. You're gonna have your opportunities to see it, and I'm gonna be ready for him.
Super Bowl champ Jeff Saturday. Jeff, I'm all about the matchup within the matchup. Tell me this. Who has the advantage, Jeff, between Burrow and the Rams D? Where are you at?
Burrow. Listen, and here's the crazy part for me. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I tripped getting out of bed one day and like everything kind of changed. I love offensive line. I'm all about offensive line and trenches, and that's what wins championships. Somehow, Joe Burrow has become an anomaly. And I'm just letting you know as I've watched this. Think about this, Molly. Think about this, Stephen A. This is the most sacked quarterback in the NFL this season, the most pressured quarterback in the NFL this season. He's thrown for 4,600 yards, I think 34 touchdowns. He's thrown, I think, 14 interceptions, whatever it is. And the harassment never stops for this guy. And he continues to make plays. And I look at the Rams defensive line and I get scared. I'm like, oh, I don't even play no more and I'm scared. I'm like, man, this is a nightmare of a matchup, right? There's no way they're going to shut this offense down. And then I look back at the film and go, I said that about 10 times this season, and it has still not slowed Joe Burrow down. So for whatever reason, this guy finds a way to manipulate the pocket. He does an astounding job of avoiding pressure, stepping up, and with the ability of keeping his eyes downfield because he puts the ball on one of his receivers. And I think they're in the top 3 in yards after catch because he just dumps it off and all of a sudden his receiver goes and makes plays. It has been one of the most impressive performances I have seen from a quarterback. And here's the craziest part. Don't let him get outside the pocket. If you let him get outside the pocket, Stephen A., it's even more scary. So as much as it goes against everything, every being, every fabric in my body, I got to go Joe Burrow.
Well, that's not surprising. I mean, you do waffle. I mean, that you do.
No, he does pancakes. He's not waffles.
Why are you defending him? Why are you defending him? Could you let him defend himself? Could you let him defend himself? What you defending his
segment is pancakes, not waffles.
Orange Crush, what you doing defending him for? Let him handle his business. He's a man. Let him handle his business. Okay, I mean, he does tend to waffle. He does tend to waffle. You understand what I'm saying? He visits IHOP a lot. Don't let Jeff Saturday fool you. I mean, he like them waffles now. Here's the deal, man. Here's the deal, bro. Here's the deal. I'm not dismissing what you're saying. I started off the show talking about people sleeping on the Bengals. No doubt about that. But when we think about what you got to be worried about, okay, the advantage, I'm thinking about the fact that Tennessee did sack Joe Burrow 9 times.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking about there's Aaron Donald. There's Ashawn Robinson. There's Gaines, Copeland, Floyd. You got Von Miller that you picked up, and the brother's a specialist when it comes to getting to the quarterback. It might not always show up in the sacks department, but he gets to you now. He puts a hat on you now, okay? And then we got a cat like Jalen Ramsey in the secondary that's like, who's the best guy? I got him. So it's something going on here, and we're going to see something special. I'm not saying Burrow ain't going to get his. I expect that. But they're going to get to him, too, now. There ain't no way that they ain't going to get to him. I can't. And when you look at the Rams, to me, the key is Mixon. Because if Mixon is running the football effectively, right, then that's going to compromise your secondary. So then now you can get into play action, which they're prone to do from time to time. And if they exercise that could open up some things, particularly if Joe Burrow is able to get rid of the ball relatively quickly, okay? We got to pay attention to that as well because he knows what's coming his way. And you can't let Aaron Donald and them get hot, meaning that they getting at you. They know they could get at you. They're feeling the offensive line just wither. The whole bunch of Jeff Saturday, Jeff Saturday's there, and they like this. Listen, Jeff Saturday ain't playing anymore. He trying to motivate him. It ain't going to work.
Jeff Saturday with like 100 more pounds on him.
That's true. Yeah. That's absolutely true. He's no question about it.
Not lean, Jeff.
Listen, he lost that weight. Look good, brother. But the bottom line is, all I'm saying, Aaron Donald and those brothers, when we talk about advantage, it's really not about Joe Burrow. It's that O-line versus that D-line.
I agree.
And it's about that D-line when it comes to comparing the two. Now, Joe Burrow may overcome it, but it's really about that D-line.
So who's waffling? You're like, well, he might overcome it. He might.
No, I said the D-line. I said the Rams D-line. I said the Rams D-line.
You were propping up Burrow earlier in the show.
I said the Rams D-line.
The Rams. You can't go both sides. You can't pick both sides. And here's the thing.
I said Rams D-line.
You can't go back and forth. You can't go, oh, Burrow's the man. He's going to overcome. He's going to, oh, no, the Rams, they're going to get after him too. Like, it can't go both ways. You can't have it both ways. So which one? Are the Rams going to shut Burrow down?
I did say Rams D-line. And I know you're a highly intelligent individual that understands English, which I speak fluently.
You said
Want
Rams
me to say, come on, style? What do you want me to do? Want to speak Spanish?
You said Rams defense. So is the Rams defense going to shut down Burrow? That's the question.
No.
Advantage to Rams D or to Joe Burrow? Rams D.
Not fair.
It's the question.
You're being disingenuous.
Pick a side, Waffle.
It says advantage to Rams D or Joe Burrow. What I'm saying to you is this. It's entirely possible. Remember, Joe Burrow won when he got sacked 9 times.
That's my point.
So let me ask you this question.
Yes.
He gets sacked 9 times. Who won? I'm not talking about the game. Who won that matchup? The Tennessee Titans defensive line or the offensive line of the Bengals?
The Tennessee Titans are at home.
Of course.
They're at home.
They sacked them 9 times.
They're at home. That's all that matters. W's and L's matter. Did they get after him? Right. Did they get after him? They definitely got after him. And I think the Rams will get after him. I think they'll sack him. I think they'll pressure him. But you're asking me who has the advantage. Joe Burrow, for some reason, is an anomaly. He comes over everything that happens to him and still performs. He had 350 yards in a game that he got sacked 9 times.
Well,
That's
let me say this. Well, allow me to say this.
Okay.
I don't believe Joe Burrow's going to have that kind of game this year. The Super Bowl. I haven't made my pick. I'm not making my pick until Friday. Yeah. And I'm going with the Rams defensive line.
Okay.
Okay?
But, Jeff, I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot he's the most sacked quarterback. That really is impressive when you just think about the season thus far and what he has accomplished.
No doubt.
But yeah, finish your thought.
Yeah, Stephen A. is a waffle guy. He waffles, ain't no doubt. I'm pancake man. We put him down. That's what we do. We don't back down. We don't backtrack, Stephen A. A lot of backtracking this time.
There's no backtrack.
Stephen A., breakfast food, are you more like omelet home fries or do you go more sweet? Pancakes, waffles?
Egg whites,
I'm definitely pancakes, waffles.
Pancake, sausage, bacon?
No sausage. No sausage. Turkey bacon. I like my waffles. I like my pancakes. I like at least one scrambled egg. But sometimes I like to go the egg white route. My problem is I'm addicted.
Scrambled egg? I have like 3.
Listen, my problem, just one with the waffle and stuff like that. My problem is, I say why? Because I'm eating the waffle or the pancake, so I'm loading up on that. My problem is I'm addicted to bread, which is a bad habit. When I do the hard-boiled eggs, it's with the sandwich. I can't just eat it without that. I want the sandwich.
Skip
That's
the bread.
My problem.
Home fries, well done. Bacon crispy. I can pass on the bread, but I'll take all those other carbs.
I will confess you are a food expert.
Oh my goodness, that was him trying to be mean, Jeff. We'll just leave it there. That was a back. Yes, it was. That was yes. We keep these cheeks full.
I had a talent that was second to none, and I know it.
I put in work.
He was so smooth.
Real work.
Ran with such grace.
Eric
Dickerson, down to the 10, 5, touchdown!
From a man, I never ran, just ran it up. Run it up, run it up, run it up, run it up.
I like that montage. Makes me feel like I need to get in the gym. Great to be joined by the Hall of Famer, former LA Ram legend, and author of, I love this title, Stephen A., Watch My Smoke, the Eric Dickerson story. Eric, thank you so much for being with us this morning. So good to have you.
Hey, Molly.
We got a little bit of a delay here, so I'm going to dive right into it with you. Obviously, your Rams went all in. Tell me this, how much of a disappointment would it be if they don't finish the job at home in L.A.?
Well, it would be a disappointment because, we are at home and, we've played good football, not great football, through this playoff run. I think a lot of it has just been mistakes. I think we have a very solid football team, but if you make mistakes like turn the football over, which is the main thing, that can hurt you. But like I say, playing at home, I think I believe we're going to win this football game.
Okay.
Well, Eric D., always good to see you, my brother. And I got to tell you, I'm looking at the Rams right now. I'm a bit concerned, Eric. I'm a bit concerned. And I'm a bit concerned. And here's why. It's really this simple to me. I mean, we know Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and those brothers could play, Eric. The big thing for me is Matthew Stafford is your quarterback. This is his first, appearance in the Super Bowl. He just won his first playoff victory about 3 weeks ago, of his career. And now it's that stage. Now, very few people on the planet know L.A. better than you. Okay, and we know who's going to be up in there, what that environment is going to be like. The Super Bowl in La La at a brand new stadium. I consider it to be the best stadium in football. This is your home turf. Being in that bubble, per se, that cocoon for the Los Angeles Rams, I think has the potential to work against them because Tom Brady ain't quarterbacking. What do you say to that?
I disagree because these are a lot of veterans. These aren't young players. They're not a lot of kids. I mean, you think Matthew Stafford, he's a veteran player. Aaron Donald's a veteran. I mean, we have veteran players on this football team. OBJ, he's a veteran. Cooper Kupp, he's a veteran too. So, I mean, it's not like we're a bunch of rookies, a rookie quarterback. The killing part is that it's almost like people want Matthew Stafford to fail. I mean, they want him to come here and fail. They want to say, he's never won a playoff game. I've never seen so many people against the guy. And, he's come here and did what he's supposed to do, get us to the Super Bowl. Me personally, I would not have been disappointed if we'd have got to the Super Bowl because this is his first year. But I'm very happy and not even surprised that we are there because of the ways that Les Snead has set this team up.
First of all, I'm a fan of Les Snead. I'm a fan of Sean McVay, and I think that Matthew Stafford has done a hell of a job. He deserves a lot of credit, so I'm glad you brought that up. But what the hell is going? Who is Cooper Kupp? I mean, 145 receptions, 1,900 plus receiving yards. I never dreamed that we would. I know he could play. I always knew he could play. I never saw this season. Is it as simple as Matthew Stafford having to arrive and Stafford being there instead of Jared Goff? Or is there something else about Cooper Kupp that we've been missing all this time?
No, I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, Matthew Stafford is one of the key elements to his success for sure. And for him, Cooper, I mean, he runs such great routes. And not just when he runs the route, when he catches the ball, what he's able to do with the ball. It's not easy to bring him down. I hear so many guys, say, oh, man, he's not that fast. I mean, it's a lot of guys not that. Jerry Rice wasn't that fast. Steve Logic wasn't that fast. But some kind of way he seemed to get open and score touchdowns.
Eric, you mentioned this team and Les Snead, but I want to focus on Sean McVay because he's young, but he's ready. I mean, his coaching tree already growing now. Kevin O'Connell expected to be hired, and obviously Zach Taylor, who he's coaching against. How would you assess the job McVay's done so far with this Ram squad?
I think he's done a great job, really. And I think the main thing is not just about the coaching, but when a lot of teams, you hear a lot of noise coming out of, their camp. The guys doing this, doing that. When we got OBJ, so many people said, man, he's a cancer. He's that. He's this. He's not the right guy. All you hear is how professional he is. What a great job he's done. How he's fit in. I think McVay and his staff has done such a good job. You hear nothing coming out of the Rams camp. And that's what it's all about. Look, it's about playing football, not about, making the news, being the media, having drunk driving, arrests and all that kind of stuff. That really doesn't happen here. And look, and you're in Los Angeles. I mean, this is not a small city. This is L.A.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Eric D, man, before I let you go, I got to ask you this question because, you got a book out. Obviously, the book is being very successful. Congratulations to you on that. And you've always been considered an authentic voice in the world of sports. If you got something to say, it's going to be honest. So I ask you this question. I look at Sean McVay, and I look at the tree of individuals. I'm happy for Sean McVay. I think he's a fantastic coach. Kyle Shanahan, I think he's a fantastic coach. But we see just the lineage, a line of individuals. And obviously, in this particular week, the last 2 weeks or so, we've been talking about scarcity of black coaches. And we see what's been in the news in regards to that. As a former NFL player, how do you feel about the news that has been percolating about the plight of black head coaches in the National Football League?
Well, first of all, we've been talking about this 30 years ago. I mean, when they didn't want black quarterbacks in the National Football League. I believe Brian Flores, everything he says, because we know how the NFL does things. Not the NFL itself, but the owners. That they really don't want black coaches. And I just think it's sad because, you say the league is 80% black and was really one black head coaching. That's like having, a black college, HBCU, and you got one black person and everyone else is white because you're HBCU. I mean, that's pretty much how the NFL is. I mean, and look, it's not about the color; it's about the opportunity. The black coaches seem to get these horrible jobs. I mean, terrible jobs, and then when they start having some success with no help, with no team, you have to have the players. They get fired. We go in a different direction, and that's the company line. And like I say, man, Stephen A., this has been going on for so long. And the only way it's going to ever stop, and I've said this so many times, is that we have to have people in power. We have to have a black commissioner. We have to have black ownership, not one, multiple black owners, because that is going to change things. Because what is it going to be like if I'm a black owner of a football team, and I say, you know what? I want to have all black coaches. I mean, that's what I want. I mean, what can you say? Nothing against the league, but that is the only way things are going to change.
Yeah, at the top. And obviously
Thanks,
the opportunities and the shorter retentions. All right, Eric, thank you for that. Before we let you go, though, your new book, Watch the Smoke. Again, I love the title. What can readers expect?
They can expect the truth. And everything in that book is very much true. It's not all about my time playing in the National Football League. It's my life, college, high school, pro, and the way I was brought up and my beliefs. And in a lot of ways, the way I was vilified, as a former player back in the 80s, because we didn't have an outlet. We didn't have a voice. We didn't have Instagram and Facebook, and just how the media portrays certain players. And when they say and put it in the media, think it's true. So it's my truth and it's my story.
I love it. Can't wait to check that. Woj bomb, get your popcorn ready. Breaking news here into First Take. Portland and New Orleans have agreed upon a trade. CJ McCollum, Larry Nance, Tony Snell on their way to the Pelicans. Sources telling ESPN. You can see the details right there on your screen. JJ Redick will be back with us in just a bit, and we'll dive into all of that. But first, some football.
It is 3rd and 2. Cousins from under center. He's looking deep. Now he avoids a bear. Fires to Jefferson. Caught. Touchdown, JJ. He's JJ with a 45-yard touchdown reception.
Justin Jefferson gracing your screen. First, let me handle some business, Stephen A., reminding you to try new Old Spice Gentleman's Blend deodorant and body washes crafted to be gentle on skin with ridiculously long-lasting freshness. You can buy Old Spice Gentleman's Blend in stores now. Justin, very important to stay so fresh and so clean. And congrats to you on another incredible season, big-time season personally. And thanks so much for being with us here on First Take.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. I'm looking at your numbers here. So you faced both these teams, the Bengals and the Rams. You had 5 catches for 71 yards and an OT loss to the Bengals. That was week 1. Really impressive against the Rams D here. 8 catches, 116 yards and a loss. That was week 16. Talk to me about the challenges of facing these defenses.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. Especially going up against guys like Jalen Ramsey, guys that's, solidified themselves in the league. So being able to go out on the field on Sundays and, only be on my second year and still balling out.
Well, listen, man, this is Stephen A., man. Thank you for being on the show. I want the world to know I'm talking to a young star right here. This brother's something special. This brother's something special. There ain't no question about it, okay? and I got to ask you this. Congratulations, 1,600 yards receiving last season, 1,400 the year before that, 180 receptions this past season. I won't get on you. I won't put you on the spot by asking you about Kirk Cousins because I'm just going to get an attitude. So I won't do that. But I will ask you this. Jalen Ramsey is on the record talking about how, he wants Jamar Chase. If that's the dude, let's get it on. I want to ask you, how special is Jalen Ramsey to you as a player, as somebody who's going against him? And what do you believe that matchup is going to be like in this Super Bowl? Because Jamar Chase, he comes from LSU too. A thing or two about him.
For sure. Jalen Ramsey, he's a phenomenal player. He's very physical, very fast. He's long. So he's definitely a guy that is hard to, get by and go around. But you know how it is. The LSU guys, we ready for the challenge. We ready for the competition. We ain't gonna never back down from the top player. So I'm pretty sure Jamar is ready for this game. This is going to be the biggest stage he's ever going to be on. So I'm excited for the matchup.
And hold on for a second. I mean, I'm going to play the role of instigator because I know how to do that. Is that your way of saying that even though you got mad love and respect for Jalen Ramsey, that you expect your boy, your brother, Jamar Chase, to have a big-time game in the Super Bowl? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Hey, that's my brother. That's my dude. I know how he play. I know how he's coming, and I know he ready for it.
How do you think he's going to react, or how do you think he's feeling right now when he heard Jalen Ramsey say, I want him? I want him. How is Jamar? Because I've never met Jamar Chase. I'm a big fan of his as well. I've never met him, though. What is he saying when he saw that soundbite from Jalen Ramsey?
I mean, we pretty much the same person. So I know if I would have heard it, I'm taking it as an offense. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking it as, that's my one-on-one matchup. He talking trash. He feeling confident. Now I got to go break him down and do what I got to do on him.
Bulletin board material. Let's go. I feel like, Justin, LSU is like a theme on the show. We had Booger McFarland. We got Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, all these guys. Let's go to another LSU cat, your former quarterback, Joe Burrow. Can you tell me this? What makes him so special that he was able to turn around things at LSU and now here with the Bengals?
Oh, man, he's a dog. I mean, the things that he has done so far, it's unbelievable. Being second-year quarterback, reaching into the Super Bowl. I mean, just him being so mobile, him being accurate, and then him just trusting in his players. Seeing Jamar going up against those corners one-on-one, he's just giving Jamar that opportunity, that chance to go up and make those plays. So I definitely love, him and Jamar's connection. And, I mean, I'm excited for this game, and I think they're going to do a phenomenal job.
Let me transition to you and the Minnesota Vikings, just from the standpoint, like, again, you're a young star in this league. I think you're going to be a star for years to come, wishing you nothing but good health, because I think that's the only thing that could derail you is injuries. Having said all of that, you've made a change. The organization made a change with the coach. Coach Zimmer's gone. We don't know what they're going to do moving forward. How do you feel about being a Minnesota Viking right now, and what do you feel y'all need, other than obviously a head coach? What do you feel y'all need moving forward so y'all could be on this stage one day?
I feel like we don't need too many pieces. All of the games that we lost last year, except for one, was, under 7 points. Us going into overtime, losing by a field goal. So we don't really need too much. We just need to find those 1-2 missing pieces that we really need. The guys on this team, we have phenomenal guys. We have playmakers to make plays and get us the win for the team. So we just got to find that extra juice to get over that hump and to finish out those games and not lose by, a winning field goal or 7 points.
Yeah, close the deal. There's a lot of close ones. I want to piggyback on what you said. Obviously, they let Mike Zimmer go, and it looks like your new head coach will be the offensive coordinator of the Rams. He's done a heck of a job with that prolific offense. So tell me this, what have you heard about Kevin O'Connell?
I've been hearing nothing but great things about him. This is going to be the first coach that I ever had that is on the offensive side. So I'm kind of happy about that. That's going to be the first for me. I always had coaches on the defensive side, so they never was worried about the offensive side. So I'm excited for it. I've been hearing nothing but good things about him. So I can't wait till he gets in that building, us to connect with him, talk to him more. And I've been watching the Rams this whole year and how good they offense have been. So I'm definitely ready for it.
Before I get to another football question, let me ask you an aside, because Molly's just going to roll her eyes. She's going to be in total disgust when I ask you this question. How the hell do you feel about playing in Minnesota? It's cold there, man. I know you play inside the dome, but damn it, it's just too damn cold.
Justin, you are talking to the softest New Yorker of all time. He grew up here, but the man cannot handle weather.
Hey, listen, man. Listen, I know y'all playing indoors now, but what I'm saying is it's so damn cold out there. You got to thaw out. You had 1,600. I think if you were playing in some place like L.A. or Miami, I think you'd be a 2,000-yard receiver for crying out loud.
Look, he just checked out. He's like, this is ridiculous. I'm a football player, and I don't have time for that. I play in football weather.
I'm just saying. Somebody got to ask the brother because the cold weather serves as an impediment. The fact that he's doing 1,600 receiving yards.
He just hung up on you.
He didn't hang up on me. It's technical difficulties happens all the time. But the point is, 1,600 yards as a receiver.
Yeah.
This brother right here, if he was in a warmer weather city, he probably had 2,000 yards.
All right. Well, it was great to have Justin Jefferson. That was a lot of fun.
No, he probably called back. Well, I mean, the segment's over.
Yeah, the segment's over. But excited about his coach. Happy he's going to have an offensive coach. Right. It looks like they will get Kevin O'Connell. By the way, before I let you, have you ever tried Old Spice deodorant?
Yes, I have.
Smells very good.
It does.
Yeah, you should pick it up at your local.
It does, but I don't like anybody telling me how to smell. I like how I smell. I'll decide how I order it.
I can't. I don't even know why. I don't even know why I just teed that up. Just roll the bumps, please, before this gets awkward.
Right, but I have.
Malika, looking forward to that. Breaking news into First Take this morning, courtesy of our Adrian Wojnarowski. The Portland Trailblazers and New Orleans Pelicans did a trade there. You can see the full details. CJ McCollum, the main name. Obviously, Larry Nance and Tony Snell as well. I will get your reaction, JJ Redick, to the deal first.
I like this deal for the Pelicans. It certainly gives them a solid chance to be in that play-in game this year. I don't think they're getting up to the 6th seed this year. And in the long term, it's a piece that they can have locked in. It'll make Zion happy. So I think it's fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
It means absolutely nothing to me. I'm disgusted we're even talking about it. I'm very disgusted.
Why?
Because I'm a fan of CJ McCollum. And I want to see him on a legitimate contender.
Yeah, there you go.
The fact that you're getting moved to the New Orleans Pelicans, we all know New Orleans ain't going nowhere this year. And I no disrespect to Willie Green. I'm very happy for him that he's got the head coaching job, that David Griffin hired him to do that job. They've won about 3 straight, if I remember correctly. They haven't had Zion. And to me, listen, I'm not questioning the legitimacy of Zion's entry at all. I would never do that. What I will say, however, there's something to be said about a passion to play, particularly at a certain place. And I think I've just gotten the impression that ever since he arrived in New Orleans, he's had 1 foot in, 1 foot out because he really doesn't want to be there. And I think it's something that David Griffin and the New Orleans Pelicans organization needs to place a keen eye on to make sure you get extraordinary value for this guy in the event that you ever have to move him. But the first thing he has to do is show you that he can stay on the floor continuously. And so for me, that's how I look at the Pelicans. And CJ McCollum, I'm a huge fan of his. And I hate the fact that he's in this situation. I want to see him on a contender.
I would have loved to have seen him with the 76ers. We talked about this earlier.
Yes.
I think that would have been such a great fit for him.
Yes. And they had a chance this summer.
Yeah. Real quick, before we get to actually the Nets, we're going to stay in the East. What about on the Blazers side? Does it do anything for you?
No. I mean, they're going to avoid some luxury tax this year. They're going to have some cap space in the future. They get a couple second-round picks. And truthfully, a young player in Nickeil Alexander-Walker that has a lot of potential.
They have young talent, and they need to focus on young talent. Because whether Damian Lillard admits it or not, listen, he expected more from the organization in terms of putting themselves in a contender status position. They didn't do much. Neil O'Shea is gone. Chauncey Billups is, as far as I'm concerned, set up to fail. As far as I'm concerned, it's not a great situation for anybody in Portland to be in other than the young players. And Damian Lillard needs to get the hell out of there ASAP, even though he's out with an abdominal injury.
It's time to put the readers on. I've got some other business to deal with. So it's been a rough stretch for the Nets.
I like those glasses.
You like these ones?
Finally.
Oh, my goodness. I actually use them to see. Okay, for the Nets who have not played with Kevin Durant since January 15th when he sprained his left knee. They're on an 8-game losing streak as they take on a surging Celtics team. Let me remind you of that tonight. JJ, should the Nets still be the favorites to win the conference?
No, and they aren't the favorites to win the conference. I mean, I look at the 2 best teams in the East, and it's pretty clearly the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'll get to the Bucks in a second. But I think this Heat team is very dangerous in the playoffs. And I think about what you need to win playoff basketball. You need shot creation. You need shooting. The Heat have that with Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler off the dribble. They have a bunch of great shooters. They have Bam as a facilitator out of the high post when they get into their movement sets. And then you need guys that can get stops. They have big wing defenders, PJ Tucker, Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry, an elite charge-taking machine, and Bam, who's one of the most versatile defenders at the 5 position. When I talk about the Bucks, Look, I think for the whole season, this team has been overlooked because their record hasn't been that great, especially coming off a championship. They're still 22-5 when Drew, Chris, and Giannis play. My two big question marks about the Bucks are what version of Brook Lopez are we going to get when he eventually comes back?
That's true.
And will them not bringing back PJ come to bite them when they face a team like the Nets?
I think not bringing back PJ will come back to bite them, particularly since he remained in the conference and is a member of the Miami
Can they
Heat.
replace him at the trade deadline is the question. Can they bring some version of PJ Tucker back? They don't have that guy.
I don't think they can because PJ is not just about his skill set. I mean, he's a corner three-point shooter. Other than that, he's a stout defender and he's a professional pest. Okay, we all know this. And so the veteran savviness that he brings to the table, I find it very difficult to imagine that you're going to be able to get that before the trading deadline. That's number one, even though I appreciate your analysis. Here's where I disagree with you. I'm only going all bodies healthy.
Okay.
I mean, of course, it's not the case if they're not healthy, if people are not healthy. But if they're healthy, it's almost impossible for me to go up against Brooklyn because there is no answer for Kevin Durant. There is no answer for Kyrie Irving with Kevin Durant. Now, Kyrie Irving by himself is the number one option in Boston. When Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were young, Milwaukee smoked them. We understand that. That was too much for him to overcome. But with KD there and him being an option you have to focus on and how prolific they are offensively, to me, the playoff action game slows down. You're in half-court situations. Teams are able to get back on defense. They're not surrendering as many fast break points as you're accustomed to seeing them doing during the regular season. And I'm of the belief, and that's just a bias that I have, JJ, which is why I've always loved you. I'm big on perimeter shooting. As much as I love Giannis, I have always said I don't even want to hear about him compared to Kevin Durant because he can't shoot like Kevin Durant. I know Giannis is phenomenal. Phenomenal. 30. He can average 30 and 15 in his sleep. But when it really, really counts and there's a roadblock to you getting to the hole, I'm just talking about a play here or there, Jay, where you're called upon to pull up and hit a perimeter shot. We know KD money. That's not necessarily the case with Giannis. Giannis was a big man in a little man contest in the finals because DeAndre Ayton had no help. Zari got hurt. Kaminsky is no answer, okay? That's why Phoenix went out and got Biyombo and they got JaVale McGee because you need some size and some athleticism at a big spot in case you run into a guy like Giannis again. I'm looking at a guy like KD, 7 foot sniper. And I'm just saying that with Harden and KD healthy, I know they soft with the front line in terms of girth, mass, and all that stuff, which is why you pointed out Allen in Cleveland. God, if they had kept him while they got the big three, that would have been something special. But it's still hard for me to bet against Brooklyn healthy.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. I understand why the odds makers still have them as the odds-on favorite to win. Because, again, if those three guys are healthy, if James Harden looks like James Harden that we saw in Houston or that we saw for 2 months last year prior to the hamstring injury, if KD comes back from this knee injury and he's healthy, if Kyrie is available for all the games in the playoffs, again, I'd have a hard time betting against them. But I just listed like 4 different uncertainties. I listed 4 different uncertainties. I don't know why you keep bringing this thing up with Giannis. The guy had a 50 ball in Game 6 to close out a finals. So he is as good as it gets in the NBA. It doesn't matter that he can't shoot. They have enough shooting around him.
They have enough shooting around him. That is what you just said on national television. No. One of the great three-point shooters in NBA history is going to sit up here on national television in front of my face and say, excuse me, who cares if he can't shoot?
It doesn't matter.
You mean he can't shoot? Really? You, of all people, would say that?
He proved that last year. He doesn't need to shoot.
Did I not just bring up what happened against Phoenix, what the Phoenix situation was? Did I not just bring? You're just going to ignore the fact that I brought that up? I mean, again.
But my point, so I wanted to touch on that, if you'll let me.
Go ahead.
And I understand the personnel moves that Phoenix made in an effort to combat Giannis in the finals.
Okay.
Who is guarding Giannis for the Brooklyn Nets? They have nobody with size. They have nobody. Claxton? Katie, you're going to play a 6 or 7 game series with Claxton on them?
No.
With Blake on them? With LaMarcus? Come on.
Time out.
There's not. No. No.
I got him.
Okay.
I got him.
I'll wait for
Here's the deal. Giannis is going to get his. The great players always do. They're going to get theirs. So what we're talking about, JJ, is moments.
What we're talking about is the fourth quarter. There's 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
And you've been running roughshod over everybody, get to the hole at will, and all of a sudden they collapse in the paint and they dare you to shoot from 15 feet. They dare you to shoot from 12 feet or beyond. They give you that because they ain't letting you come in the interior. I'm saying moments like that are happening. Can the Nets do that over the course of 48 minutes? Hell no. Okay. Can they do it over the course of 7 minutes?
Gentlemen, we're up against, you can stay the rest of the show. Let me get in one more commercial break, and then we will come. Yes, it's called a cliffhanger. Everybody can stick around at home.
Get to like, subscribe, and share all of our channels. Check us out. Hey, tell us what you think about it. Are we hitting it on the nail on the head or are we not? Please leave a comment. Let us know. Tell us how the flow is. But don't forget, this is your boy MC D-Rex, and I'm out. Peace.